The sort of video that I'm making right now is exactly the sort that is going to get me some unpleasant comments, I'm sure. But it's something that I've just been kind of fixated on recently. I think because the internet, well, let's be real, like people have been fixated on this for decades. But I think like with TikTok and just kind of like the prevalence of social media and kind of the way things circulate, this is like a hot thing again. So I want to talk about this idea. Look, so I've got a lot of videos on my channel, and several recent ones about the myriad reasons why somebody would choose not to be Wiccan, why you wouldn't be interested in Wicca, why you might not like Wicca. There are all kinds of really valid and important reasons to critique Wicca. Okay, like we could spend forever, hours and hours dissecting this. There's all kinds of conversations that should be happening, are happening. Okay, and some of this is outside of my wheelhouse. Some of it is just stuff that I don't have the energy for. Some of it, there are much smarter people talking about right now, okay, than myself. But this one point I have feelings about. So get awkward with me for a second. And that is the critique, specifically, that Wicca is a problem because Gerald Gardner enjoyed sky-clad ritual and just wanted to hang out with naked women. So I kind of don't even want to like nuance that critique at this point. I just want to like quote it at you the way it is circulated on social media. Like I hear that all the time. Like Wicca is trash because Gerald Gardner was a creeper who just wanted to look at naked ladies. So I want to think about that for a second. Because there's a fundamental problem that I think exists even before we really learn anything specific about Gerald Gardner. Like, you don't have to research Gerald Gardner to hear a statement like that and hit pause and ask questions about it. So the question there, like the thing that we should pause about is, let's say for a second that that's objectively true. Gerald Gardner really just wanted to be naked and do naked witchcraft with naked ladies because he liked naked ladies. Let's say that it was entirely about a sexual fetish, like he was just really into whatever it is people say he was into, okay? So what? Like, I just cannot help thinking that that particular critique in that form is fundamentally rooted in a deep-seated collective cultural discomfort with nudity and sex. Because it would be one thing if we were talking about the involvement of children or the involvement of like non-consensual parties, if we were talking about like breaking laws, I don't know, like there are all kinds of things that would make that scenario questionable, except in this particular case, what we have is a bunch of grown-ass adults, most of them with jobs and families, some of them with spouses coming in with them, and they're doing all of these things consensually. Like, whether it's like totally chaste, kind of like nudist witchcraft and everything's very like British and polite, or whether it's like a steamy, satanic, like Wiccan orgy, if we're talking about consenting adults, why is that a problem? Like, what is our fundamental objection? I think when we throw Gerald Gardner or Wicca as a whole under the bus because of the assertion that Gerald Gardner just really liked like nudity and naked ladies, I think we are discounting the autonomy of not just the adults in that situation, but specifically the women in that situation. Like, why is it that we don't think that these women, many of whom were middle-aged, were capable of making their own choices, sexual or not? Like, let's say that they all did want to just get in a room and do naked witch cult sexy stuff together. Like, that's something that consenting adults can do if they want to. And it doesn't have to be within the context of Wicca. I mean, if you've spent like 5 seconds in a kink community, like, Wicca's pretty tame, honestly. Like, that's a critique that I don't think is fair. And I think that when we are uncomfortable thinking about an old dude and a bunch of naked ladies, like, if that makes us uncomfortable, I think perhaps that says more about our personal relationship with sex, sexuality, nudity, our own bodies, other people's bodies. Like, there are all kinds of things going on there that I would argue aren't necessarily related to what Gerald Gardner and these other adults were actually doing. So I wanted to throw that out there. Just because, as I said, there are all kinds of reasons to criticize Wicca. There are so many reasons. And there are smart ways to do that. But saying that, like, these grown-ass people just, like, there's no way for grown-ass people to do naked witchcraft without there being something, like, nefarious and manipulative going on. Like, I think that's just incorrect. And I think we need to respect the autonomy of adults making sexual choices, making magical choices. So yeah, like, let's maybe hit pause on that argument. I've definitely encountered things personally where, like, as a Gardnerian priestess running around in the world, it's a little bit insulting to hear that, like, you know, oh, Wiccan women are just being, like, manipulated by men. Like, we're being duped into taking our clothes off or something. Like, we aren't capable, smart people making our own choices. I feel a lot of the time like it's just other people judging us because we're making choices about our bodies that would make them uncomfortable about their own. And, like, I think that's a shame. And, like, everybody has their own stuff to work through. But anyway, there's a little bit more than 2 cents. Please leave your angry comments below. Don't do that, please. I'm actually very sensitive. And have a nice day.